Now that's what I call a thrilling climax.
This is Victor, the actor who played Thing in Wednesday, and this is how we shot this. And these are the behind the scenes.
Okay, we're set. And 3, 2, 1, action.
I got scared.
X-ray 106, take 2.
1, action! 1, action! Action! And 3, 2, 1, action!
No, I'm okay. I'll stand up anyway. The problem is I'm blocking the light, right? If I stay here. Yes. Should we talk with the DOP? Is I can try to go here.
Yeah.
And
Hoping that you'd be in the same position you were in on main unit. In the window, you know?
yeah, but the desk was cheated that way. Performance-wise, if I can stay like this, not like this, it's okay. So basically my hand will go running like that, and the knives are falling.
And fight! And we're set, and action!
Now is the dressing up part when I take on the blue suit in order to be deleted in the scene. So stay with me. Everything is blue, including the socks. Blue pants, blue blouse, blue sleeve. And this is Sting. Blue glove for the other hand. And blue hoodie. And that's Angela who makes my makeup. Are you prepared to put Thing on? Look at all these things. We're doing a shot with Thing dropping from the roof, and we're actually having a fake arm right here, which is dropping with Thing after he grabs on it. Ah!
They're bringing in a flag that's gonna go right there. Thank you.
2, 1, action! 3, 2, 1, fall! 3, 2, 1, action! And 3, 2, 1, fall!
So now we're taking it off.
When he arrived at Nevermore, he was hailed as the greatest mind to ever walk the halls. But his inventions became more dangerous. Till one night, his genius
What you slurp and slurp? What's that? Phoenix Cadets? Nice.
Getting ready with Emma Myers. Loving the hair. Enemies or BFFs. Queens in action. By Emma.
Hey, can you guys watch my bestie? Thanks.
Go.
I've been expecting you.
5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 9, 10.
I have never had that much fun filming something. I'm actually quite speechless. We weren't even allowed to hear it. We could only dance to like the drum beat.
It's all very James Bond.
I'll dance with you. You don't even know my choreography.
In the script, there was a dance sequence. There was an artist, Lady Gaga.
We both dance. That was something that kind of connected us from the beginning. Working with Corey, who's our wonderful choreographer, we did some sessions, building stuff.
Me and about 4 or 5 dancers came up with some moves, and then we brought that to Emma and Evie, and they, naturally fed in.
Play that.
The song that they used was not out yet. Like, it was very top secret. They had like a count track. 3, 2, 3. It was like 2 days straight of dancing in very restricting clothes. It's also really hard with the VFX of it all. They built rigs for me to like fly on, essentially. This whole experience has been so surreal. It is fun, but it is hard.
Joining the campfire festivities this evening, Ms. Addams?
I usually enjoy cruel and unusual punishments. Not tonight.
Most people would have FOMO, fear of missing out.
Phobia, fear of being included.
Finding someone who was the opposite of Weems and Steve is such an icon. And the fact he wanted to do it was, and he'd watched the show, was a huge fan. It was just a total delight. He brings such a different energy to the show. Yeah. And in episode 1 is that great speech on at the pyre where he dances to Bruce Springsteen. That was an idea Tim had the night before. We had a line about Springsteen being an outcast, and then Tim said, let's play the song. It was like, we had to get the rights cleared in like 12 hours. Talking to Colleen about the look, we had go from the classic beauty of Gwendolyn and the Tippi Hedren, Hitchcockian femme fatale to Steve in a purple,
It's like dadcore.
Interesting interpretation.
Some people wrestle with darkness, not me. I love shadows. That's where I do my best stalking.
Meeting Fred Armisen on set. Of course, there are stairs. The most beautiful eyes, cold hands, warm heart, costumed up. I love when he smiles at me, studying his lines. What did you think of this episode? Off to set we go. What's Uncle Fester up to? Love that smile. See you in part 2.
Set. Okay, here we go. We're set. And 3, 2, 1, action!
Go! Go! Hold on. This way? That was quite good. Whoa!
Guess who I'm visiting on set today? Billie Piper. Maybe she's out. Am I at the wrong trailer? Hello, Ms. Capri. Final fit check. Time to go to set. Cute nails. Here we go. Whoops, can't show you more.
Those of you that have watched part 1 of Wednesday will have seen plenty of these black tears by now falling from Wednesday's eyes. It'd be interesting for me to do a little video on the process of creating the black tears and how we got to the end design. I initially read the script for season 2. I was immediately excited. Brain immediately started ticking on how on earth you would create a black liquid that is eye safe, that would fall from someone's eyes and look like they were crying black. There weren't going to be necessarily many products catering for that. I looked at using the black eye blood from Krylon. I also looked at the idea of painting them on and then collaborating with visual effects. So I tried creating them with just a classic water-based face paint. And then late at night, whilst I was lying in bed troubleshooting this, I had a brainwave about the Terre de Sang Le Maquillage palette that activates with water and turns into running blood. Anyone who's makeup-y might remember Pam posting a video of me doing this. That was whilst I was trying to figure out how to create these black tears. So I spoke to the lovely Rachel Lennon at Pam, and I was like, I've got this idea. So Rachel was kind enough to put me in touch with Elan at Le Maquillage, and we started looking at what colours would work. So here's the product that the gorgeous people at Le Maquillage helped me make, and me activating it with water. If we had gone down this route, Jenna would naturally cry in the sequence, and you would see it play out on camera as the tear hit the activated product underneath. In the end, the director ended up wanting to go in a different direction, but that product was absolutely incredible. I also remembered this incredible Billie Eilish video, and I'm so sorry because I don't know who the makeup artists were that did this. If anyone knows, feel free to tag them. There was like a BTS video on how they did it, and you can see here that they used a tubing rig. I managed to find out who created this black tear product. It was the incredible David Stoneman from Makeup. He very quickly made me a tub of it, shipped it out to Ireland for me, and here you can see us trying the rig method. Too much, and we wanted something a bit more subtle. So in the end, we opted for me using that David Stoneman product, but just dropping it on with a pipette. They would call action, they would start rolling the cameras, I would go in, drop it on, step out, and they would start rolling as soon as they could. That combined with the amazing VFX team's work, making sure it looked like it was falling directly from her eyeball, was what we settled on. It was the wet tears version, but we also had a dried tears version, which was super easy and would be really easy to recreate at home if you wanted to. And all you need is a pipette with some water in. You drop that down the skin, and then a black face paint, anything water-based. Mix it up and literally dot it on the area where you've got the water, and it will create the perfect streak, and it dries down amazingly, which was really important because there were scenes where Wednesday would wake up with them dried on her face and she needed to just be able to wipe them off with a handkerchief, and we would just put a little bit of makeup remover on the back and then she could wipe and they would disappear. That's a little backstory on how we created the black tears on season 2 of Wednesday. Spoiler warning, if you haven't seen season 2, episode 6 of Wednesday, now is your time to scroll on past this video. This episode was a huge challenge for hair and makeup, as we had to figure out how we were going to blend the characters of Wednesday and Enid together. This was a hugely collaborative process. Myself, the actors, the hair and makeup designers, costumes, showrunners, the director Angela, spent a really long time thinking about how we could integrate the two looks into one another. Right at the beginning of the episode, we see her have her first allergic reaction to colour. When we were researching and testing this look, I wanted to make sure that I had a look at the beautiful work Sheen and Lynn had done on Emma with her eye makeup, so I could try and mimic that on Wednesday. So here you can see I added in the little wing on the inner eye and that pop of blue in the inner corner, just like Enid has. I also wanted to add a more frosted, glossy lip on top of Wednesday's usual night moth lip to look more like what Enid would wear, so I went with the Dare to Bear lip gloss by Pat McGrath. So when we see Wednesday walking down the steps, she's in full Enid mode, glossy lip, blue eyeshadow, little inner wing, messier hair, colourful clips and bobbles, wavier braids at the end. And as the episode goes on and Enid becomes more rebellious, we see Wednesday have a huge allergic reaction until it all goes terribly wrong. She's covered in eyes, her eyes swollen, she's in full anaphylactic shock. Jenna was covered in a number of prosthetics for this, so thank you to Matthew Smith and Tristan who sculpted these, and Matthew for applying that eyepiece for me. The episode goes on, the characters realise that they're going to have to work together in order to get their bodies back, and at this point, this is where we see Wednesday going to a dinner with her family, and she's really trying to remain undetected at this point. However, those of you who are beady-eyed may have noticed that her hair and makeup is still slightly not quite right. At this point, it was almost meant to be like Enid had tried her best to make herself look like Wednesday, but something was slightly off. So I wanted to make sure that the braids were a little wonky, the parting was a little off, the hair was still a little messy, and she had a glossy lip and still some eyeliner in her eyes. So she's looking a lot more like Wednesday at this point, as she's learned her lesson from her previous colourful experiences, but something's still a little bit off. And that is my hair and makeup breakdown for Wednesday in episode 6.
We've been really lucky with the show because it's reached it's cast a much wider net than we had anticipated, so especially for the younger people, for, you know, still trying to figure out who they are, and in the day and age of social media where, you know, everybody wants to find their uniqueness or their voice online, it's also important to have that in your personal everyday life. So to kind of be able to introduce younger people to this character and show them kind of how important it is to stick to your guns is really exciting to me.
It's probably the paramount aspect for me. I think there's a reason why the Addams family all those decades ago has have such resonance. It's the quintessential modern family to me, where, you know, your nuances and your idiosyncrasies are embraced. They're not pushed down, quashed, boxed away and hidden. We embrace that. And hey, we're still trying to break glass ceilings and all that stuff today, but I think that the acceptance of the Addams family with their children and within the outcast world, it means a lot. You know, we all feel like we're all been a little removed and detached from certain situations in our life, and this is like applauds and encourages that to be just the norm, and everybody else is different.
In today's world, we're all taught to be a certain way, to fit into some sort of normal mold, which realistically doesn't exist. We should be celebrated for our differences. Our differences are what make us unique, and I hope that this school and this show can represent that and push that message out to the world, because honestly, what makes you unique is what makes you human, you know? And I wouldn't want to live in a world where we're all the same, for sure.
It feels really, really good. I'm excited to be back with all my friends and all the fans that showed up today. And I mean, this is huge, this is massive, so I'm happy to be celebrating it. The message of Nevermore is to just embrace who you are and find your community, and I think that's a wonderful thing, and I definitely needed that as a kid, so I hope it speaks to young people.
It's thrilling because, of course, the Addams family is immense in America, and it's rather lovely to see that it's now taken the whole world by storm because of Tim Burton and because of Series 1, and because, I've got to say, of Jenna Ortega, who's just a blazing star, and of course Catherine and Luis and all the people around her, but it's Jenna who leads this. She's the title role. So to be asked to join it in Series 2 and to be her own grandmother, her own flesh and blood, that was huge. It was very, very important for me. Lovely.
What's amazing about season 2 is that I get to be in England. I love it here so much. So it feels like the right place for it. Because London does have a sort of spooky quality to it. I don't mean that, I mean that as a compliment. And so I'm so excited. I'm so glad. Cool cast members, everyone looks great, everyone sounds great. I'm very happy.
There's so many surprises. I mean, it's so much darker, gorier, and honestly thoughtful. So I think fans are going to be really happy about it. No, there can never be too much gloom because there's also always a bit of levity, and that's the beautiful thing about working on a Tim Burton project is that it kind of allows you to dwell in that space that, you know, it's very easy nowadays to naturally kind of be in, but to find the humor in it.
As Pugsley's changed between season 1 and 2, so have I. Like, I'm a metalhead now. I paint my nails black at home. I've definitely leaned into the gothic vibe as I've grown up. Not just because of Wednesday, but just as we both progress, me and Pugsley.
I think that's why we love the show as a family. I think it's why people really connect with the show, with the character of Wednesday, with the concept of outcasts. And you know, it's really important to have characters like that, especially for young girls.
Now season 2 has happened, and I filmed season 2 with all the people I've already known, and I think it's such a kind of strong bond I've grown with everyone. It's way more comfortable, and I think I'm really starting to grow into the whole idea of it all. And I think I just hope everyone else can see that on screen and like see how powerful the chemistry is and how kind of natural it is now. I think I've always found it's nice to kind of have that kind of unique kind of twist on your own identity, just to kind of portray yourself in a different way, you know, not conform to anything that you're being told to. Obviously there's levels, but I think I've always kind of liked the idea of standing out a little bit with the hair and everything. So no, I think it was really nice to be able to portray that through something so large scale.
Oh my god, there's just too many to count. I think it's just going to be really, really full of like mayhem. Wednesday's back at Nevermore. There's obviously going to be mystery after mystery to solve, but like some really gut-wrenching emotional growth for all the characters as well. So I think it's going to be really exciting. Some great set pieces, but so far my mouth is sealed on anything specific.
There's a lot of good stuff. I don't know specifically. I will say there's a couple scenes that I got to shoot with Emma that was very exciting, and there's some cool action stuff. So I think people will be excited. I think that's a huge thing for me. It's like it's hard to know who you are, especially like today. There's so many types of things or types of people you can be, but actually figuring out who you are is tough. And I don't know. I think shooting the show has been a great experience.
Working with Tim, because at least for me growing up, it was the first time that I don't know, that being weird was like kind of made cool around then, you know, with like Edward Scissorhands and Winona Ryder and that whole thing. And I remember my dad showing me that movie when I was young, and it probably doing something to my brain, hopefully positive.
The opening of the season 1 is pretty cool.
Yes.
I mean, season 2 with the serial killer basement.
Yes, I think that's good. I'm trying to think if there's anything else.
There's some scenes in episode 4 which we have an amazing sword fight.
Yes.
Won't say who it's between, but in episode 3,
yeah,
that was pretty epic.
Yes.
We have Morticia and Gomez doing an amazing tango.
Yeah.
That's also pretty great.
That is great.
Lots of highlights.
We didn't know what to expect with season 1, genuinely. As we were making it, we thought, oh, it might be top 10, you know, Tim Burton, Jenna Ortega, like, we'll see what happens. But yeah, I mean, seeing like the impact of it now, you know, it makes it all the more exciting for season 2. Ireland is a dream, genuinely. There's something about the Irish people that really like rubbed off on me, like whilst we were there, and yeah, a lovely place to film. Yeah.
When we knew we were doing season 2 and that the family and Morticia was going to be part of, really beautifully integrated into Wednesday's story at Nevermore, I was, as you can imagine, more than thrilled. I mean, she's such an iconic character to, you know, get into the shoes of. The beauty of season 2 for me, being a Brit, is that my queen, Joanna Lumley, gets to play my mother. So it was like, when you think it can't get any better, it just did.
It's got a very fluid feeling, this show. It embraces everybody. And you would think that being about a child at school, which is what Jenna is at boarding school, that it might be for sort of teenagers only. But the spectrum it reaches is absolutely extraordinary, immense. And so all kinds of people who you'd hardly know all tuning into Jenna in their 70s, in their 80s, and little young ones. And although it's frightening, it's not horrible. Do you know what I mean? It's scary in the way that all proper gothic ghost stories for children are scary. I love it. Never too much gloom with Tim. And the truth is that I don't really have that darker side. At least it's not as dark as Hester Frump, who makes her money out of death, after all. She owns all the cemeteries virtually in the world. She owns all the funeral parlors. She rubs her hands at the thought of someone dying. And she's got sort of superpowers, which she's retired her abilities, but she can still do them. It's been fantastic. And therefore putting on the cloak, as it were, the mantle of Hester and her great, extraordinary wig, I've loved it. It's been great fun.
There's a camping scene that I'm not even in, and I already love it. And then Uncle Fester, the character who I play, is in an insane asylum. So that's going to be really fun. Never enough gloom. I love the holiday of Halloween. I mean, I live it. I live, like, every day for me is Halloween. So I love it so much that I barely even think about it. I just like everything to be as gothic and vampire-like as possible.
It's very important. I think what we kind of learned in season 1 was that everybody thinks they're an outcast, or feels like an outcast. So the fact that that Wednesday speaks to all of these different groups and all these different ages is pretty extraordinary.
Yeah, and it's sort of like what the show's about.
Yeah.
It's about celebrating difference, and I think that's what's great about Wednesday. She's unapologetic about who she is, and I think that's very aspirational.